What if I told you that we could all be living inside a grand, carefully crafted simulation? That this world we know and everything in it could be a construct, like a game we are playing without even realizing it. The idea may sound outlandish, but some of the brightest minds in science and philosophy have seriously entertained this possibility. In fact, they've found evidence all around us that could suggest our reality isn't what it seems. The world is incredibly precise. The world we experience is filled with consistency, precision, and almost mechanical order. From the smallest particles that make up atoms to the vast galaxies that stretch across the universe, there's an underlying sense of order that seems too immaculate to be random. The mathematical structures that define the laws of physics are so precise that they hint at something much more deliberate. This brings us to the question, could it be that our reality is, in fact, a carefully crafted system designed by some higher intelligence, much like how we create virtual worlds? Even when we look at the natural world, the patterns that exist are strikingly uniform. The Fibonacci sequence, golden ratios, and the precise mathematical formulas that govern everything from the shape of galaxies to the structure of seashells suggest a level of design that hints at something more than just chance. Some argue that these patterns are just the result of natural processes, but others believe that these recurring structures provide strong evidence that the world is not random but constructed with purpose, almost like code written for a simulation. Another compelling piece of evidence can be found in the advancement of technology itself. As we continue to develop more sophisticated virtual worlds and simulations, we are inching closer to creating fully immersive, lifelike experiences. Virtual reality and artificial intelligence have shown us that we can, in fact, replicate and manipulate environments in ways that were once unimaginable. If humanity is already capable of creating convincing simulations, what's to say that we aren't living in a far more advanced version created by some greater force? Scientists like Nick Bostrom have argued that if it's possible for a civilization to reach a level where it could create hyper-realistic simulations, the chances are high that we are already inside one. After all, if a highly advanced civilization were capable of creating simulations, why would they stop at just one? It's more likely that they would create many, perhaps even an infinite number. And if there are more simulated realities than real ones, statistically speaking, we would most likely be living in one of those simulations. Even dreams, an experience we all share, offer a glimpse into the possibility of a simulated reality. When we dream, we are transported to a world that feels incredibly real yet is entirely constructed by our minds. If we can create fully immersive realities in our sleep, what's stopping a more advanced intelligence from doing the same on a larger scale? Perhaps, much like dreams, our reality is a temporary experience designed to teach us, challenge us, or help us evolve in some way. The deeper we dive into these concepts, the more it becomes clear that our perception of reality might be far more limited than we've been led to believe. From the perfect mathematical structures that govern the universe to the strange coincidences we encounter and the advancements in technology that mirror the very idea of simulation, the evidence is all around us. It's not about fully accepting the idea that we're living in a simulation, but rather being open to the possibilities that there is more to our existence than meets the eye. There's no better field of science to prove this than quantum physics, which has extensively examined the existence of the simulation. Quantum physics proves the simulation. The strange behavior of particles at the quantum level is one of the most eye-opening clues that we exist in a simulation. Particles can exist in multiple states at the same time, and they don't seem to settle into one state until someone observes them. It's like the universe is waiting for us to look before it decides how things should appear. This idea of reality changing based on whether it's being observed has led some to believe that, much like a video game that renders only the parts the player sees, our world could be running on similar rules. It seems as though the universe doesn't show us everything at once, but rather responds to our gaze, giving us only what we need in that moment. Another striking piece of evidence lies in the precision of the universe. Everything from the way planets orbit the sun to the behavior of electrons follows exact mathematical rules. The entire universe seems to run on code, almost as if it were designed by someone or something with a perfect understanding of mathematics. This mirrors how a computer simulation works, with each element following a precise set of instructions to create the illusion of reality. If we think about how fast technology has advanced, it's not hard to imagine that one day future civilizations might be able to create entire worlds inside computers, worlds so real that the people inside wouldn't even know they were in a simulation. Some scientists believe that if such simulations are possible, there's a good chance we're already living in one. After all, if there are countless simulations and only one real reality, the odds of us being in the real one are incredibly slim. It's as if we're characters inside a game, unaware that the world around us was created by something far more advanced. Even the physical limits of our universe hint at the possibility of a simulation. We know that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, and there's a smallest possible unit of space called the Planck length, beyond which space as we know it no longer makes sense. These limits feel like the boundaries of a computer program, where there are restrictions on how far we can go or how small we can shrink. It's as if the universe has been coded with its own rules, just like the parameters set in a video game. Sometimes we even notice glitches in the matrix. Many people have experienced a phenomenon called déjà vu, the unsettling feeling that they've lived a moment before. While some believe this to be a trick of the brain, others see it as a glitch in the system, a moment where the simulation slips, showing us that something isn't quite right. Other strange experiences, like coincidences that seem too meaningful to be random, further feed this sense that reality might not be as fixed as we believe. These are moments that make us question whether our lives are unfolding according to some pre-written code. And let's not forget about the rapid rise of artificial intelligence. We are already creating AI systems that can mimic human intelligence, and it's only a matter of time before these systems become even more advanced. If we can create virtual worlds and artificial beings that feel real, what's to stop a more advanced civilization from doing the same to us? Could we be the AI living in a simulation, unaware of the world beyond our coded existence? We don't know where consciousness comes from. The idea becomes even more intriguing when we think about consciousness itself. We still don't fully understand what consciousness is or where it comes from. Some believe that consciousness might not be a byproduct of the brain but something deeper, something that exists beyond physical reality. If that's the case, then what we perceive as the physical world could be nothing more than a projection, a simulation crafted to give our minds a place to exist and experience life. What if those moments of chance, when everything falls into place perfectly as if by magic, aren't just luck but hints that our world is more controlled than we realize? Those chance encounters, those times when the universe seems to align just right, could be more than mere coincidence. They may be signs of a hidden design, clues to the simulation that quietly runs in the background. When things click together so effortlessly, it feels like an invisible hand is guiding us, leaving breadcrumbs to show us that our reality isn't as random as it seems. Taking note of serendipity around you, those odd moments when life seems to fall into place without explanation, is just the start of what could be clues pointing to a much deeper truth. Think about it. How often do you experience something that feels too perfect, too coincidental, like the universe is working behind the scenes to make things happen? Perhaps you run into an old friend just when you need them most, or you stumble upon exactly the information you were seeking at the precise moment you need it. These instances feel almost scripted, like someone or something is pulling the strings. But what if they are? What if these moments of serendipity aren't accidents at all, but signs that we're part of a larger system, a simulation? These coincidences may be deliberate, subtle hints that we're living inside a crafted reality designed to keep us engaged, learning, and growing. They're like little reminders that just maybe everything around us is carefully organized, that life follows a hidden blueprint we're not meant to fully understand. These experiences make us pause and question the nature of the world. When life feels too aligned, it's easy to dismiss it as mere chance. But what if it's part of a larger design? Could these perfect moments be the simulation revealing itself? Another philosopher who provides a compelling perspective on the idea of reality as an illusion or simulation is the 18th century German philosopher Immanuel Kant. Kant's work revolves around the idea that what we perceive as reality is heavily filtered by our minds, and we never actually experience the world as it truly is. Instead, we are only aware of appearances, what Kant calls phenomena. Kant's theory centers on the distinction between the noumenal world and the phenomenal world. The noumenal world refers to the reality that exists independent of human perception, the world as it truly is. However, Kant argues that we can never directly experience this noumenal reality because our senses and cognitive structures shape and limit what we perceive, the phenomenal world. The anthropic principle, while the notion of the universe being too perfect can be compelling, some would argue that this line of thinking overlooks a key concept in modern science, the anthropic principle. This idea suggests that we only perceive the universe as being perfectly suited to life because we evolved to fit within the conditions it provides, not because the universe was designed with us in mind. In other words, it's not the universe that is perfectly crafted for life, but rather life has adapted to the universe's conditions. Mathematics, science, and philosophy, critics argue, are merely tools we develop to describe and understand the world around us. They didn't emerge fully formed into a world that conveniently matched their principles. Instead, these disciplines evolved alongside our understanding of reality, shaped by the universe's conditions, not the other way around. From this perspective, the patterns we see, like the Fibonacci sequence or the golden ratio, are simply the byproducts of natural processes, not clues pointing to a grander design. However, even this explanation leaves room for further questioning. While it's true that life has adapted to its environment, we must ask, why does the environment possess such intricately precise laws in the first place? Why does the universe operate with such a high level of mathematical consistency? And why does our existence align so perfectly with these laws? Could it be that these laws, which seem so natural and unchangeable to us, are actually part of a larger, more deliberate system? Perhaps the anthropic principle doesn't dismiss the simulation theory, but instead provides more evidence for it. If we evolved within this system, designed to thrive under specific conditions, doesn't that sound a bit like a well-constructed simulation? The very fact that we can question and understand these patterns that feel too precise to be random, might be proof that the system we're in was built with the capacity for inquiry, discovery, and doubt. In the end, the anthropic principle could be viewed as an explanation within the simulation rather than a refutation of it. The deeper we go, the more it seems that the simulation theory might hold more truth than we once thought. Just think of the golden ratio, for example. The golden ratio, the universe speaks to us in patterns. If you've ever gazed at a sunflower or admired the symmetry of a seashell, you've already encountered one of the most mystical yet mathematical forces in existence, the golden ratio. This ratio, often referred to as divine proportion, weaves its way through the fabric of nature, art, and even the structure of galaxies. It's a silent code, one that repeats across the cosmos, from the largest scales of space to the smallest details in life. It's not just a number, but a fundamental key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. The golden ratio, often symbolized by the Greek letter phi, is approximately 1.618, but it's more than just a number. It represents a perfect balance between unity and multiplicity, harmony and chaos, order and creativity. This ratio is present in the spirals of galaxies, the arrangement of leaves, and the proportions of the human body. It's as if the universe is trying to tell us something, whispering its secrets through the repetition of this sacred geometry. The idea that there is a guiding principle behind the structure of the universe isn't new. Many ancient cultures believed in an inherent order or divine design within the world. In Greek philosophy, the Pythagoreans believed that numbers and geometry were the very essence of reality, and that through understanding these shapes and ratios, one could understand the nature of existence. To them, mathematics wasn't just a tool. It was a form of spiritual knowledge, a way to connect with the divine. As you trace the golden ratio in the natural world, you'll find it present in more places than you might expect. The spiraling shells of mollusks, the arrangement of flower petals, even the way hurricanes form, each follows this same pattern. Why does this ratio appear so often, almost like a signature of the universe? Some might say it's merely a coincidence, but others believe it's evidence of an underlying structure, a grand design that shapes our reality. It's as if the universe itself is constructed with this ratio at its core, mirroring the eternal balance between creation and destruction. Fractals, too, offer a glimpse into this hidden order. A fractal is a pattern that repeats itself at different scales, from the microscopic to the cosmic. Imagine a tree. Its branches split into smaller and smaller limbs, yet each branch resembles the whole tree in structure. The same pattern exists in rivers, coastlines, mountain ranges, and even the human circulatory system. This self-similar design, endlessly repeating across scales, suggests that the universe operates through a consistent set of rules that echo the essence of the golden ratio. It's fascinating to consider that ancient beliefs and modern science might both be pointing toward the same truth. In Hinduism, there is the concept of Brahman, the ultimate reality or cosmic spirit, which is believed to pervade all things. Brahman is said to manifest through the multiplicity of the universe yet remains one, much like how the golden ratio represents both unity and diversity. The Taoists speak of the Tao, the way of nature, which flows through everything in a balanced and harmonious manner. In this sense, the golden ratio could be viewed as a mathematical expression of these ancient spiritual ideas, a representation of the cosmic harmony that runs through everything. There is a feeling of awe when you begin to recognize the golden ratio and fractals in the world around you. It's as if you're seeing the universe for the first time, not as a chaotic random assortment of objects but as a carefully constructed whole. The patterns that once seemed random now appear intentional, as though there is a hidden force guiding them. This is where the spiritual meets the scientific, where divine proportion becomes not just an idea but an experience. One could argue that the golden ratio is nature's way of expressing beauty and perfection. The ancient Greeks believed that beauty lay in proportion, and they used the golden ratio in their architecture and art to create harmony. Even today, architects and artists use this ratio, whether consciously or unconsciously, to craft spaces and forms that feel balanced, serene, and timeless. In Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, we see the golden ratio in the human form, illustrating the perfection of our proportions. It's as if the universe has encoded this ratio into us, linking us to the greater cosmos in a subtle yet profound way. But why does this matter? Why should we care about a number or a pattern that repeats itself in nature? Because it points to something greater. It suggests that life isn't just random, that there is a deeper order, a reason behind the seeming chaos of existence. When you recognize this pattern, you begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, the way life mirrors the cosmos, and how we, in turn, reflect the universe within us. In this, the golden ratio serves as a bridge between science and spirituality, between the tangible world and the unseen forces that shape it. It reminds us that we are part of a greater whole, woven into the fabric of the universe itself. And when we begin to understand this, we open ourselves to a higher level of awareness, one that allows us to see the divine in the everyday and to recognize that the answers we seek might already be all around us, hidden in plain sight. Just as the golden ratio links the vastness of space with the intimate details of life, it also links us to the cosmos. The same divine proportion that spirals through galaxies runs through our veins, reminding us that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. This isn't a distant abstract idea. It's the very essence of what it means to exist. When we recognize that we are connected to everything around us, every leaf, every wave, every star, we also begin to see how every action, every thought, and every choice reverberates through the whole. Life, in its intricate beauty, calls us to remember our place within this delicate balance. We are not isolated beings floating aimlessly. We are threads in the fabric of the universe, each of us contributing to the pattern of creation. In this recognition comes peace. The chaos of life, the struggles and uncertainties, become easier to bear when we understand that we are never truly alone. We are part of a living, breathing universe that moves in harmony. The patterns that govern the stars also govern us, and they carry us along in their flow, reminding us that everything, every joy, every sorrow, has its place in the larger design. To live with this awareness is to live mindfully. It's to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. It's to embrace the truth that the same force that spins the galaxies also shapes our lives. And in that truth, we find both purpose and peace, knowing that we are an essential part of the greater whole.